And unfortunately, we do have young moms really struggling in South Africa with families who are making it worse. But there are organizations such as yours that work to make it better. So why don't you tell us about Young Mom Support?
Young Mom started in 2010. I was a teen mom myself, so I had some experience with it, and there wasn't really an organization out there doing the kind of work we wanted to do. Most were focusing on prevention, which is great, and that's definitely got a place, but for once the girl is pregnant, what then? We've had over the years a number of support groups in communities where we go out and we meet with the moms, and once a month we'll get together with moms and babies and have a discussion, have a workshop, that sort of thing. We've found over the years that the demand is just too great, and how it's working better is, instead of focusing on one small community group, is to take it online, spread it through Facebook and social media, and mix it, and emails and telephone and that sort of thing, because I can reach more people that way. And eventually what we'd love to do is to hand over ownership of small little community groups to the moms themselves, so they can support other moms in their communities who are in the same situation.
What are some of the struggles that these young moms are expressing to you? And as members of the community and even government, how can we help?
Every mother's got a different story. The struggles that she had before she fell pregnant are the struggles that continue. If she was poor before she fell pregnant, that's going to be her main issue. If she's having struggles with a family who wasn't supportive even before she had a baby, that's also going to continue. So having a child doesn't necessarily, it may complicate things in a practical way, but it doesn't necessarily create more problems that weren't there already. If she was struggling financially before, that's going to be what's on her mind. But across the board, the issue that comes up over and over again is people with attitudes like, my child should be taken away from me because I can't be a good mother. The shame, and people making her feel ashamed and guilty, and telling her that it's impossible that her child will have a good life. When, in fact, yes, there are she has many challenges, but it's a choice. And if she's willing to put in the work, whether they struggle financially or not, her child can be happy and can have a good life. People don't tell mothers that.
Absolutely. Now, when you are a family member of a pregnant teen, often people's first reaction is shock and shame. So how can family members of teenagers who find themselves pregnant be more supportive?
Well, I get the shock. I get the anger, I get the fear, because you don't know what's going to happen next. I get all of that. However, the bottom line has to be, do you love your daughter? You loved her 5 minutes ago, before you knew. Do you still love her? If you do, you're going to be there for her, no matter what. She's not a murderer, she's not a rapist, she's not a thief, she's not a drug addict, she's not a criminal. So that's your job. And I say this to girls who find themselves pregnant when they're trying to decide whether or not they can actually take this job on. I say that to them, for better or worse, this is it. No matter what your child does, you have to be there for them forever. Are you up for that? If you're not, then don't choose parenthood, choose something else instead. And it's sad, but yes, even to adult parents, you have to say the same thing. You signed up for this. You said you were going to be a parent. Your daughter needs you. Now step up and do what you need to do.
Now, Tracy, I recently did an interview where I was told a really shocking statistic, and that's that 1 in 2 children in South Africa grow up without a father. Of course, you're dealing with these young moms, and many of them are going at it alone. So from Young Mom Support, what is your message to South African fathers?
2 things. First of all, a lot of the young dads that I've spoken to, and I didn't realize this, they often feel that a father's only job is to provide financially. Because the father may be very young, maybe he can't provide financially, he feels he doesn't have a place. That's not everybody, but it is a large proportion of people. And to be able to say to young men and young fathers, listen, I know that you can't provide financially right now, but you still have a place. You still have to be emotionally present and physically present for your child. And to see their faces light up and think, hang on, I didn't know that. That's awesome. That's awesome. Of course, you're always going to get those who are not interested. There's not a lot you can say to somebody like that, because you can't change their mind. They're either in or out. Perhaps if they're not going to be completely committed fathers, perhaps it's best that they're not involved. A child suffers when there's not consistency and people are not in and out. Mothers, the number one search term for people who come to our Young Moms website is, how do I get my child's father to take responsibility? That's the number one term over the last 4 years consistently. And the truth is that you can't. You can't force him. You can legally compel him to pay maintenance, but you can't force anybody to care. He's got to come to that himself. And I tell young moms all the time who feel guilty and who feel bad that they've let their children down somehow. I say to them, you owe your child a mother. Their father owes them a father. You don't. If you are there as a mother, that is, you've done your job, you know. So keep trying to get him involved, keep making it possible for him to be involved. But if it doesn't happen, your child does not have to be defined by that.